The Last Hero, Episode 3, Chains of the Past, Bells of the Future.
The winds that passed through the royal city of Mudit no longer carried joy. Where once the morning breeze hummed with bird song and the scent of blooming sapphire lilies, now it howled like a mourning mother. For within the palace walls, two hearts were breaking in silence, and a storm long forgotten had begun to stir far beyond the horizon.
The prison beneath stone. It had been over 60 days since Merrick, son of the great General Damien, had been cast into the pit of punishment. With no food, no water, and a new torment every day, his body had grown gaunt, his bones visible beneath torn skin, and his breath shallow like the whispers of the dead. But his eyes still burned. Each time the guards entered with their cruel inventions, they hoped to see his spirit broken. But Merrick, trained in silence, pain, and solitude since boyhood, endured. Not because he wished to live, but because something inside him refused to die. He did not scream. He did not weep. He simply watched. And in the deepest hours of night, when the palace slumbered, one figure still woke. The secret visit Princess Melina, cloaked in shadows, dressed not in silk or silver, but in a servant's gray robe, slipped past her new guards chosen to obey the king's command rather than protect his daughter's will. Her hair, once adorned with gems, was hidden beneath a worn scarf. Her hands trembled, but her heart burned with defiance. She had bribed a single loyal healer, one who remembered her mother's gentleness, and begged for just one chance to see him. One chance to speak! With keys stolen and lantern dimmed, she descended the winding steps to the cell no one was allowed to enter. There he was, chained, unmoving, a shadow of the boy she once saw break trees with a single blow. His face was hollow, his lips cracked, yet when she stepped closer, his eyes opened, like twin stars flickering in a storm. He knew her. Even now. She dropped to her knees and took his hand in hers. It was cold, rough with wounds, but it closed weakly around her fingers. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I should have spoken sooner. I should have fought harder. I never wanted this. I never thought—" He silenced her with a faint nod. And then, in a voice no louder than falling snow, he said, "You came. That's enough." They sat in silence. Words would have ruined the moment. Two hearts spoke in stillness. She leaned forward and pressed her forehead to his. In that brief contact, something ancient stirred. Not magic, not prophecy, but something older. Hope. But time was short. The healer above could only delay the watch for so long. Before she left, she kissed his forehead and whispered, "Hold on. I will not let this be the end of your story." The king's decision. 2 days later, a strange thing happened. The court convened again, as they did each week, to review the prisoner's condition. The healer, the very same one Melina had bribed, spoke before the king and elders. "There is nothing more to learn," he said quietly. "He is broken in body, but not in will. This boy was not sent to kill. He came for something else." The king was silent. He remembered the words of Lady Theron, the eldest elder, who once said, "Greater than he who survives the storm of judgment may yet carry the light of destiny." King Altheon rose. "Release him," he said. The chamber gasped. "Feed him, heal him, but do not yet free him. Let him rest. Let him answer when he is ready." And so it was done. On the 71st day, the chains were unlocked. Food and water were given. Merrick spoke not a word, but when the servants came to carry him from the dungeon, he stood on his own. He had not died. And something in the guard's eyes changed, from hatred to awe. Damien's Ret General. Damien sat alone in his war chamber, the room where maps of enemy lands, battle diagrams, and ancient relics lined the walls. It was here he had planned the defense of Muddith. For over 2 decades, it was here he had given every ounce of loyalty he had. And yet, he looked at his sword, the one he had taught Merrick to use, and saw not a weapon, but a wound. "I gave everything," he murmured. "My blood, my years, my family." He clenched his fist. And for what? So the court could put my son in chains? So the king could look into my eyes and see only a tool? He rose, trembling with anger, not at the kingdom, not even at the king, but at himself, for being so blind, so loyal, that he had watched his son suffer and said nothing. He went to the training field. Every night, for decades, he had trained soldiers here, yet tonight, he trained alone. Blow after blow, he struck the air, the dummies, the stones, until finally he collapsed to his knees. And then the bells rang, the bell of Titans. From the palace tower, a deep iron bell rang 3 times. The signal of grave emergency. Damien stood, instincts sharpened. He ran through the corridors, joined by captains, scribes, and the king's magi. In the throne room, King Altheon awaited with a sealed scroll in hand. A scroll carried by a raven with black flame eyes. The mark of the enemy no one dared name. He read aloud. "To the kingdom of Muddith, I am Dazaz, the Elder Titan, King of Ash and Flame, the Beast of the Wastes, the Hammer of the Old World. I conquered the sands of Maith. I broke the spine of Velkar. I shattered the stone throne of Auraz. I shall bury your kingdom beneath the earth. You have 7 days. Choose wisely."
The chamber fell into stunned silence. Even the most seasoned generals turned pale. Dazaz was not a man. He was a force. One of the last Elder Titans, ancient warriors bred by war, born from magic, and known for slaughtering entire empires with their bare hands. Altheon's hand trembled slightly as he rolled the scroll. He looked to Damien, then to the great hall's entrance. "Summon all warlords. Call the circle of magic. Ready the towers." End of Episode 3. Merrick has survived. Melina has found her courage. Damien begins to question the very kingdom he served. And now, a threat greater than any ever faced looms on the horizon. Dazaz, the Elder Titan, marches toward Muddith.
And what does Dazaz truly want? Conquest? Or something deeper? Shall I begin Episode 4 for you?